Elias Vance lived on the 5th floor of a brick building in North Philly, a part of the city where every promise felt like a struggle and every silence was just the pause before a siren. He was 19, and his passion, his obsession, was music, not the prepackaged beats echoing from car windows, but the complex, soulful language of just piano. His apartment was small, and his instrument battered. Used keyboard resting precariously on stacked milk crates was often drowned out by the noise of the city. His struggle wasn't poverty in the traditional sense, but a poverty of opportunity. His student loans loomed large, and his job bussing tables at a diner kept him just above water. Elias wasn't playing for money. He was playing for a feeling. But whenever he played his original compositions, complex, moody pieces that felt too big for the small room, his older brother, Marcus, would inevitably lean against the door frame, shaking his head. "Elias, that's beautiful, man. Truly. But it doesn't pay the rent," Marcus would say, his voice heavy with the practical weariness of a man who worked to security jobs. "Why don't you try to get a gig playing covers downtown? Give the people what they want." Elias would stop, his fingers hovering over the yellowed keys. "It's not about what they want, Marcus. It's about what has to come out." "What has to come out is a steady income," Marcus retorted, his words a painful echo of the doubt Elias already harbored. "You're chasing a sound no one cares about. You're trying to write a symphony when the world just wants a 4-bar loop." Their words were the city's critics, loud, realistic, and focused only on the immediate bottom line. Elias felt the fire, that absolute, uncompromising need to create his own melody start to flicker under the constant wind of necessity. Maybe they're right. Maybe I'm wasting my time on an unheard frequency. One Tuesday, exhausted and creatively drained, Elias found himself at a tiny, dimly lit cafe downtown called the Velvet Note. It was known for its quiet, almost spiritual atmosphere and its terrible coffee. In the corner, hunched over a beat-up upright piano that looked older than he was an old man everyone just called him the Maestro. He had a beard like silver moss and hands that moved over the keys, with the patient inevitability of tide and sand. The Maestro didn't play fast or loud. He played the spaces between the notes. His music was complicated, beautiful, and utterly ignored by most of the few patrons present. They were on their phones, discussing stock futures, or simply waiting for their lattes. Elias watched for an hour, captivated. When the Maestro finally paused, Elias approached his table. "Sir, your music. It's incredible. But no one is really listening." The Maestro took a slow sip of black coffee, his eyes crinkling at the corners. "You listened, didn't you, son?" "Yes, but you deserve a bigger stage, a better piano." The Maestro leaned closer, his voice a low, resonant rumble, like the sustained note on a cello. "Elias, what do you see when you look at that piano?" "I see an old instrument," Elias replied, "and I see 100 years of stories." The Maestro countered. He then produced a small, tarnished tuning fork from his pocket and struck it sharply against the table. The pure, clearer note rang out, cutting through the cafe's background noise. "This is the inner frequency," the Maestro said, holding it out. "Everyone else your brother, the patrons, the noise of the city, they are all trying to tune you to their frequency. They play the loud, easy notes. They want you to match the noise so you can be instantly recognized." The Maestro tapped the tuning fork again, letting the pure note decay into silence. "Look deeper, Elias. Can you feel the vibration of that note inside your own chest? That's your true, unique melody, the one you have to play. But what if no one hears it?" Elias asked, the familiar doubt twisting his gut. Most people live their lives constantly adjusting their tune to the crowd, hoping for applause. The Maestro observed, his gaze sharp. "But that is a path to becoming a copy, a sound effect. It is a slow death for the spirit." He placed the tuning fork in Elias's hand. "Your struggle is not with money or with the city. Your struggle is with the urge to silence your own music just to make others comfortable. People will try to cover your frequency with static. They will tell you your tune is too strange, too quiet, or too complicated. But your job is to keep playing it anyway." "How do I do that?" "Discipline, The maestro said simply, "You feed the fire your melody with relentless discipline. You practice when you are tired. You write when you are empty. You learn theory not just to show off, but to understand the absolute structure of your own sound. Your success isn't measured by the money in your pocket today, but by the integrity of the note you play tomorrow." Elias carried the tuning fork with him, a constant, tangible reminder. Inspired, Elias changed his approach. He continued his diner job, sacrificing his limited sleep. He spent his mornings rigorously studying music theory, dissecting the complex works of the masters. He stopped trying to force his original music into formats that critics or his brother would approve of. He simply let the unheard melody flow, perfecting it for its own sake. He practiced his technical skills relentlessly. Instead of trying to get a quick cover gig, he sought out obscure, challenging volunteer opportunities, playing for patients in a hospital, performing background music for a small, non-profit poetry slam, accompanying a high school choir during their off-season. He was building his reputation and his skill, note by note, customer by customer. He was still broke, still tired, but his music was becoming undeniably stronger. His pieces had a depth and structure that transcended mere emotional outpouring. One evening, nearly 2 years later, a young film director walked into the Velvet Note. She wasn't looking for music. She was waiting for a friend. But when the maestro took his break, Elias, who had a regular Thursday slot now, sat down. He didn't play a cover. He played his unheard melody, a haunting, complex piece he had perfected over hundreds of hours. A sound that spoke of the struggle and eventual triumph of the inner city. The director wasn't checking her phone. She was listening. She hired him on the spot, not just to score her small independent film, but to define its emotional landscape. She told him his sound was exactly what she had been searching for: authentic, unconventional, and uncompromising. The film won an award at a small festival. Suddenly, Elias's music had a voice not on the radio, but in the serious, artistic corners of the industry. The calls started coming: an offer to write for a new documentary series, an invitation to lecture at a local music academy. He didn't become an overnight pop star. He became a respected composer, carving out a niche defined entirely by his commitment to his true sound. He bought his mother a new, quiet apartment outside the noisy part of the city. He didn't forget his brother, investing in Marcus's idea for a community-focused security firm. 1 year after his first major success, Elias returned to the Velvet Note. The maestro, still hunched over his piano, smiled as Elias approached. "The frequency seems to be carrying well." "My child," the maestro observed. "It is," Elias confirmed, holding up the old, tarnished tuning fork. "I keep it clean." The maestro nodded slowly. The world tries to make talented young people chase cheap noise, but those who dare to play their own, complicated, beautiful truth rewrite the standard. Your dreams aren't measured by the applause of the masses, but by the absolute purity of your own tune. Moral: if this story resonated with the unique, difficult note you are trying to play, do not keep it silent. Share it with someone who needs the courage to stick to their own frequency. Like this video. Subscribe for more stories of strength and integrity. And remember, your next chapter begins the moment you dare to play your true self. Start tuning today.